Good evening, welcome to ITV News. This is Tuesday night's calendar.
And these are tonight's main stories.
Train trouble. South Yorkshire's left in limbo as the rest of the country finds out the government's plans for HS2.
They just keep saying they don't know. They don't know. Well, how can you commit to such a structure and not know what you're doing? It doesn't bear belief.
But first tonight, residents in South Yorkshire say they're living under a cloud of uncertainty over whether their homes will be demolished to make way for the proposed high-speed rail link.
While the rest of the country learned the government's preferred route today, Sheffield was the only place along the proposal to be left in limbo.
It comes after initial plans to run trains to a station at Meadowhall were shelved, meaning the new route would run right through a newly built housing development in Mexborough. That's where Lisa Adlam has been speaking to residents today.
Rail line, where's it going?
It looks as though it's going to go straight through Rachel's house.
In the garden of the home they bought for their retirement, Peter and Sue Douglas point out the proposed HS2 route, which could see their house and the life they've built here demolished. The couple are among dozens of householders on the new Shimmer estate in Mexborough, still in the dark over the government's plans, and who fear the enormous impact those plans could have means little to those in charge.
We're not people with feelings, with families and friends, with jobs. We are bricks and mortar, we are in the way, and to be quite honest, they don't care a jot about what happens to us now or in the future.
The first proposed route for the HS2 line took the track between Sheffield and Rotherham to a station at Meadowhall. The redesigned and preferred route would take HS2 trains on existing tracks in and out of Sheffield via Chesterfield. And the main north-south line to Leeds would be moved east to follow the M1 and M18 and through towns including Mexborough. But today's announcement doesn't include a final decision over where a new station in or near Sheffield would be. Sheffield City Council, however, regards the latest move as an endorsement for the city centre station, adding that it would help to create more jobs and growth and bring bigger economic benefits not only to Sheffield but the whole area around the city. The Chamber of Commerce agrees, but in a statement today added, "We also completely understand that because this is a route change from the original, the government now has to legally conduct a full consultation, and we hope this can be carried out as quickly as possible." In neighbouring Doncaster, many are yet to be convinced.
It's going to create a second-rate service for this particular region with no major benefits, certainly for Doncaster.
And others go even further.
It's a terrible decision for the country, but more importantly, for those people that will be affected, their lives, their businesses, their homes, that will be affected when this track goes through.
The government has called HS2 a game changer and claims it will bring huge economic benefits to the whole country. But in this corner of South Yorkshire, many people feel they will be paying a price that money alone cannot measure. Lisa Adlam, ITV News, Mexborough.
Well, for more on this, let's cross to our political correspondent Daniel Hewitt, who's been following the story in Westminster.
Yes, good evening. The government's mantra when it comes to HS2 has always been long-term gain for short-term pain. If greater connectivity and greater capacity on our rail networks means knocking down a few hundred homes, then ultimately it is worth it. Today here in Westminster, the Transport Secretary, Chris Grayling, said that those communities affected by HS2 would be treated with compassion, respect and fairness. But as you heard in Lisa's report there, that's not how some residents in Mexborough feel they are being treated right now. And that is a point I put to the Transport Secretary earlier today.
Well, I'll give them the certainty when we've fulfilled our statutory obligations. I've been to the Shimmer estate, I understand the problem, I've driven down the route through South Yorkshire. Yes, of course I understand how deeply worrying this is for people today. My commitment to them is that we will do everything we can to make sure that we ease the impact upon them and their families where they're directly affected.
You talked about listening and consulting with residents. Residents we've spoken to in Mexborough say there has been almost no communication. They have been completely left in the dark in this entire process. They are living at the moment in complete uncertainty.
And I've read the emails they've sent explaining that situation, and I absolutely feel for those people.
Did you reply?
Today. Well, the department has responded to messages coming in from the public. I've read all of the messages that came in to me, which I've ensure have responses, and all of those people, we'll be inviting them now to come and talk to us as part of this consultation process.
Well, I'm joined now by Ed Miliband, MP for Doncaster North. The HS2 line will run straight through his constituency. As Labour leader, you were for HS2 and suddenly you're against it. Which is it? Are you a hypocrite or a NIMBY?
Neither. I'm in favour of HS2 as a project, but the truth is we're not going to get the economic benefits from this project for the whole of South Yorkshire with this plan. So we're not just objecting to this plan because it causes destruction in my constituency, it does, but because of the wider picture for the whole of South Yorkshire. Lower connectivity, lower economic benefits, claimed savings that don't add up, and we're not giving up. Look, this is the wrong decision. This is a decision that flies in the face of logic. This is just the first stage. The government is now consulting, and we're going to keep fighting it because it doesn't make sense for my constituents or the whole of South Yorkshire.
Forgive me, I didn't hear you making many of these arguments when you were Labour leader for 5 years.
Well, this is a specific project affecting our area. The truth is that the plan for HS2 was to go to Meadow Hall, and all of the objective assessments that I've seen say that is better, not just for Sheffield, but also for Doncaster, Rotherham, Barnsley. I think they're being sold a pig in a poke. It's not high speed, this line, anymore when it actually gets into Sheffield. It's fewer trains, there's not good connectivity to Leeds. The whole principle also needs to be looked at of this route. There are better routes and better ways forward.
Finally, isn't the truth of this that if there is an alternative route where other homes and other businesses will be knocked down, will have to be paid compensation, you'd be quite pleased with that? This comes down essentially to they're your voters, the people that put you in office, and you don't want to upset them.
Of course I have a responsibility to my voters, but it's the scale of destruction that is going to be wrought. It's the economic benefits to the whole of the region. That's why it's not just me that's saying it, but it's other members of Parliament, other councils as well. And so I'm not just making the case, and I said this to Chris Grayling, I'm not just making the case for my own constituents. Of course I am, but also talking to our campaigners, they also say this. This is about the wider benefits for South Yorkshire as a whole, as well as the immediate impacts.
Ed Miliband, thank you very much.
Thank you.